I just forgot everything. Anyway, hey though. Thank you so much for joining me today. We got a lot to get into, but hopefully we won't be on here too long. For those of you who are joining me live, welcome. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to chat those in the comment box or in the chat box, and I will attempt to help you with your personal situation as it relates to your business and all that great stuff. So what we're talking about today is what you should do to prepare your business for a down economy. And so a lot is going on in the world, right? So as a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, consultant, freelancer, there's some things you need to consider in your business and things you might want to tighten up just in case things get real, okay? So if you have never met me before, my name is Cinnamon. I'm a digital strategist. I am from Washington, D.C., but left the United States about 3-4 years ago and moved to Lisbon, Portugal. So because I'm a digital marketer, that was a field that I got into after 2008, 2009 recession when I had to start my life all over again, okay? So I went into digital marketing, but I've been an entrepreneur for 20 plus years. So I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey there, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. So again, we're going to do Q&A at the end. But basically, we're going to talk about how to prepare your business as things may get tight. Just if we're talking about gas prices. I mean, I don't have a car, but I hear the gas prices are crazy. So there's a lot of life is lifing right now. Okay, so there's a lot of things that are going to occur, and people's discretionary income is going to change, and so that will change in business, and resources are going to get more expensive. So just cause and effect, things are going to start to happen. So what I'm sharing with you are some of the things that I wish I would have considered in my business when things were changing. But in 2008, 2009, it was a free-for-all. Like the whole world, the financial world just blew up. So I don't know if anyone knew what we should have been doing. But hindsight is 2020. So I want to share some of the mistakes that I made or things I didn't consider, so that hopefully before things get any particular way, you will be prepared. So let's talk about this a little bit, okay? So the first thing we are going to talk about is securing your audience and sending them to something that you own. And so I'll go through all the 5 things, and then you can screenshot this. You can screenshot this now, but I'll do the whole 5, and you can screenshot it so you'll have an idea later when you are thinking about this in your business. So secure your audience and send them to something that you own. What does that mean? Okay, now, as you see, I'm currently on YouTube, and I grow this particular brand on YouTube and Instagram, but my corporate brand, I use other means to do that. If you are marketing yourself online, 2 things are getting ready to happen and have already happened. Ad space is going to become increasingly more expensive because the online advertisers, your Googles, your Facebooks, and things like that, they are publicly traded companies and they have to make money. So what they do is they'll start to charge you to be in front of the audience that you've already attempted to build. So that can create a bit of issue. So what you need to do, if you are using any online platform, you need to bring people back to something you own. This needs to be an email list or some form of content relationship management software, or a CRM for people in the industry. That's what we call it. Now, full disclosure, I use ActiveCampaign. I'm also a partner of ActiveCampaign, so that is what I use, but you could use whatever works for you in your technical know-how. Full disclosure, ActiveCampaign is not the easiest software to use, but that is what I use before anyone asks me what software I use. Okay, so let me tell you what this means. This means if you are building your audience on Instagram or on TikTok, I guess, or on LinkedIn, you need to create some content that is helpful for your audience based on the industry that you are in, so that you can get their email address, bring them to something you own so that you can continue to communicate with them and talk to them. That is securing your audience. If all of the other social platforms shut down, you still need to be able to communicate with your audience. A lot of you here are on my list. You got an email that said that I was going to go live today. You are on my list. You received emails from me asking you, where are you stuck in your business? What are some of the problems? That is what I create content with. Okay, so if you don't feel like you don't have anything to say, because many people say, well, I want to create an email list, but I don't know what to say. Ask people where they're struggling, because ultimately, if you are educated in a certain skill set, you can provide that education as content and then, of course, as additional products and services, okay? So the first thing is you have to secure your audience. This is going to be super important now because many of the online platforms are going to limit your reach. And you've probably been seeing this already. You've probably seen regular individuals putting up ads for their Instagram accounts or for because they either trying to grow their reach or they can no longer reach the audience they've already built. You can see this when you go to individuals and they may have, 100,000 followers. If they didn't pay for it, you can see that the interaction on their content might be low because technically Facebook or Meta, I guess that's their name now. I should call them Meta, but Facebook will charge you to go to your audience. They've been known to do this and this is what they're doing. Everyone will do this, okay? So what is the action step that you need to do to secure your audience? Toward the Q&A, if you tell me what your industry is and what your audience struggles with, then I can help you create what's called a lead magnet. What the lead magnet is something quick and digestible that your potential audience can use to help them and give them a really quick win, and it helps you stay in contact with them. So let's just pull the curtain off of this brand that you're sitting here. And again, guys, if you're new to me, my brand was pretty much established of me moving to Portugal. So initially, that's what a lot of my content was wrapped around. And so if people wanted more information from me in regards to Portugal, I gave the checklist that I used and additional content about how I made it to Portugal, because that is the audience. Now, currently, the audience has morphed into people who are interested in creating online income, people who are interested in moving abroad in general, and then people who are interested in moving to Portugal specifically. So I segment all those individuals into those different categories so that they get the appropriate emails based on the information I'm giving. To increase my audience of people who are interested in creating online income, I created a digital nomad toolkit, which was basically a list of software that if you are working remotely, this software will help. It's very quick, easy. And then from getting that information, okay, I have their email address. Many of you know you've got another email from me saying, all right, where are you struggling? Or if I have an event, you get an email asking you to come out. Or we're developing our relationship in email. But initially, I had you on social. You follow me? So that is what I need you to do in your business. Create it could be a one-page PDF of software that's important, a checklist, anything that would be helpful to the audience that you want to work with. And that is what you use to get their email addresses. And so securing your audience is going to be super important as we're preparing for this down economy. Okay, so number two. Number two is learn the needs of your current customers, okay? Here's the thing, and I'm not sure what business guru coined this, but it is very much true. 20% of your customers are going to be responsible for 80% of your business. So what does that mean now? That means that you need to have, if you don't have customers, give me a minute, I'll talk to you on that. But for those of you who have people who have already purchased your product or services before, you need to have in your software something that differentiates how your best customers, if that makes sense. So in my software, I can see who my customers are, how many times they've purchased from me, the products that they've purchased from me, and from that, I can gather where they need help. So reach out to the customers that either you've talked to over the past 3 months that have not executed, or your current customers, and communicate with them and ask them where they are struggling, if they need any help. So here's an example. Let's say you have a renovation company and your sales team has called all of these people and haven't necessarily followed up with them. You can take this time, if you have a sales team, to re-engage those individuals you reached out with, like, hey, we spoke, such and such, maybe 2 weeks ago. Did you make a determination or if you're going to renovate your bathroom or if you're going to renovate your kitchen? And then with the follow-up, people can say, yeah, I already did it, or no, I don't want to. Or if they decided no, you can ask, well, what were your reasons? Maybe your price was too high, or I just decided not to do it. Get the intel you need to understand what you need to do about your business. Now, for your other customers, let's say, again, you're a renovation company and you renovated their kitchen. Maybe they have some other projects. If they enjoyed working with you, they would want to work with you versus researching someone else. So start to communicate with the customers you already have and see if they have any needs. And try not to do that in a self-absorbed, salesy way. Like, be genuine and find out where your customers are struggling in whatever industry you're in. Because if they gave you money before, chances are they like you. And if you gave them a good experience, they could probably use you in other areas. You just didn't say anything to them. You just didn't offer them anything else that they could potentially buy from you. So check on your best customers, your 20% of your customers, and you might want to trim the fat. If you are doing the most for the 80% that doesn't spend that much money with you, then you might want to cut down your service list. So for example, I don't know if you guys ever watched Kitchen Nightmares. Gordon Ramsay, love him. So one of the things that he does when he's coming in and he's saving restaurants, he cuts down this massive menu that people may have had like 10 to 15 pages of just food stuff. He cuts it down to something very simple and very useful so that the customers will enjoy it and give it high quality. Check in your business and see if you could do that with your business as well. Okay. So for those of you who do not have customers, it's going to be a little bit difficult initially because it's going to require you to communicate more with your customers or potential customers to see what they need. So remember, we talked about securing that audience. You have to communicate with said audience. Many of you who are on my list, we have already had various forms of communication. You're going to need to do that with your audience. You do not just collect emails and just let them sit in the oblivion of the cybersphere. You want to use this to ask them what they need because this is where your services are going to come from, or your additional services, okay? All right, so if we have any questions, go ahead and put them in chat, and then when we're done, which we got 3 more, and then we will move forward. Okay, where are we? So now we're on number 3. Okay, so this is, all of them are important, but this is where you really need to reel it in. So you want to audit your current processes and see if there's any inefficiencies or staff issues that you need to adjust right now. So sometimes if you have staff and you don't have your processes correct, you may have staff being paid hourly to do a task that software could have done. And that could have reduced your expenses dramatically because then you can have that staff focus on projects that actually make more sense and give you a better rate of return, if that makes sense. So when you're auditing your process, you need to audit your inquiries, your sales, your quote process, your follow-up, and of course your execution. So your inquiry, what does that mean? When someone is interested in working with you, how does that start? And is that consistent for everyone that wants to work with you? So do they send an email to you? Do they schedule an appointment? How do they initially inquire that they want to work with you? Then what is the sales process? So here's the problem. A lot of people say they want to grow their audience. They want all of these people to do work with them, but they have never built out the system of what happens when someone is interested in working with you. So if you haven't done that, do it. Because in a down economy, the last thing you want is someone to have an interaction with you. They're interested in working with you and it falls apart in this area because then they're not going to want to work with you. So in regards to the inquiry, how does that happen? Is it consistent for every person that interacts with you? What is your sales process? When they think they want to work with you and you need to send them a quote or a proposal, what is that process? Is there certain software you're using? Then what is the follow-up? There are a lot of people who may reach out to you and say they want to work with you, and maybe it's not a good time. And if you don't follow up with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't interested. It's just you didn't follow up with them. Now, follow-ups, make this automated. Look at me. Make follow-ups automated, okay? Make them automated, make it automated, make it automated. This will help you tremendously. So if you know that you spoke with client X on this date, automated to create so again, I use ActiveCampaign, so I can send my clients to a particular automation that says in 2 weeks, just send out an email reminding them of, I'm not going to get too technical, so reminding them of certain things so that you can follow up with them. That is going to be critical. Now, full disclosure, I'm teaching a class on how to implement the email section next week, the 23rd and the 27th. The link is going to be in the description. So if you attended my workshops before, it's the same format. We're going to be talking for 90 minutes. We will talk specifically about your business and, of course, the other entrepreneurs that are in the workshop with us. So for those of you who are ready to kind of put this together, let me know. We'll be in class, okay? So you're going to automate your follow-up process, okay? And then your execution. After someone pays you, what happens? And whatever happens, is that consistent with every customer? So if you're a freelancer or you're a solo entrepreneur, you might struggle in this area because you are probably getting quotes, talking to your customer, doing the work, and not marketing. And so you go this feast to famine stage because once you get a lot of contracts, you stop marketing. And that you cannot do in a down economy. You still have to automate your marketing. And the automation of your marketing is going to come from your content, which is going to be the last thing we talk about. So let's move on to that so all of this hopefully makes sense. Okay. Create additional profit sectors. Now, when I say create additional profit sectors, I want you to think of two things. I want you to think of affiliate programs. Is there any software or companies that will give you a commission based on a relationship that you will already work with? So for example, like I told you, I am a partner with ActiveCampaign, but I run a digital marketing agency. So most of my clients will use it and I'm a partner of them. So I get to get paid off of affiliate and partnership income from ActiveCampaign in addition to the service my client pays for. Does that make sense? So I want you to consider, for my accountants, is there a software? I'm sure you're probably using QuickBooks or some other software that you use to provide the service to your client. 9 times out of 10, your client will need that software too. I'm sure they have an affiliate program and you can get paid the commissions based on that as well. Consider that another profit sector for your business. Second thing is digital products. If there's a situation where you can give your customers an added benefit, so let's say you deal in the finance field and you can create a workbook or an Excel sheet that already has equations built into it so that they can analyze their monthly budget, analyze their weekly budget, or whatever they need to do, and they pay for that worksheet or active sheet. You can sell that in addition to the core service and products you sell. So start to think about if you have any digital products that you can create that will complement the services that you already have. That way, these can be additional revenue streams while you're doing your core business. And those also can end up helping you increase your core business. Because let's say someone buys a workbook and they're like, oh, this was really helpful. This was great. I think I need to bring them on my team so they can help me do something a little bit more dynamic, okay? So think about those various product sectors that you can include in your business that are digital, preferably because you don't have another capital outlay to produce it, okay? So hope that makes sense. And all right, last one. Increase your value-based content for marketing. So if you are not currently paying for ads, like I said, as the economy changes, ads are going to get increasingly more expensive. And what that means is you need to create content that is going to be relevant and value-based based on the audience in which you're serving. Content is your 24-hour, 7 days a week salesperson. What you are looking at right now is content. It is content, okay? So I need you to create some content in your industry that is helpful to the audience in which you serve. What that ends up doing, you're going to have a call to action. Full disclosure, look, I'm pulling the curtain back. In this particular video, the call to action is I'm teaching a class next week. You want to come or not? But this video stays up here forever. Okay, so how that matters is I will create content from the workshop I'm teaching because I have information that I could share with an audience that's interested. And then once I do the workshop, if I want to sell the workshop or if I want to do something else with the content, I can do that. But once you put it out into the internet, it brings people back to you. If this is your first time seeing me, then welcome. But for those of you who've been rocking with me for a while, you can look on the channel. There's over 100 and some odd videos, which means there's over 100 digital employees that work 24 hours to increase the brand. You follow me? That is what I need you to do. So let's just go ahead and recap really quickly. And you can start putting your questions in the chat box and if you could be more as specific as possible. Tell me a little bit about your business and your industry and your audience, and I'll stay around until people need me. And why can't I find? Yes. So let's just recap really quickly. What you need to do, these 5 things. You need to secure your audience and send them to something you own, preferably your email. So again, I am teaching an email marketing course next week, 23rd and 27th, I think, but the link is in the description. So secure your audience with something you own. Get them off of the internet and get into their inbox. This is going to be your direct communication with your customer. A website cannot do that. If someone comes to your website, 9 times out of 10, they are not coming back. Okay, so you need a way to get in their inbox so that you can continue to communicate with them and give them value. This is how it works. Okay, number 2, learn the need of your current customers, your 20%ers. Contact your current customers, your past customers, and just check and see what they need based on the industry and the value that you provide. Okay, see if they're struggling with anyone. Be in the forefront of someone's mind. They may have enjoyed working with you, they just haven't heard from you in God knows when. So now is the time to start to help with those relationships and include those relationships. Okay, 3, audit your current processes. See if there is some type of software that you can use that could either replace a person if need be, if you have to downsize. See if there's software that will automate a lot of your processes. So full disclosure, ActiveCampaign can do most of that. It is not the easiest software to learn, but it can automate your inquiry, sales, quote, follow-up, execution, all of that. All right. Again, the class I'm teaching next week will show those who are ready how to do that. Number 4, create additional profit sectors. This is super important. And for those of you who are in the service industry, you may have a bit of a challenge thinking, well, how can I create what I do into a product? And if you're here with me today, if you tell me what you do, I can help you. We can brainstorm and I can help you do that. But 9 times out of 10, there is a digital product for everyone. Consider adding that into your arsenal so that while you are busy doing your work, you still have the ability to sell these digital products, and they have a great rate of return, because once you make it once, you can sell it forever. So please consider it. This can be workbooks, workshops, recorded courses, whatever you want, but consider that as a profit sector. And number 5, increase your value-based content marketing. This is going to be your sales engine in this time. Understand there are the various social platforms that exist. They all have their own ecosystem and they operate differently. YouTube is a search engine based platform, which is why I recommend that most people at least start there when they're trying to build their audience, because it is keyword search engine based. In addition to, it also has some AI, meaning if someone interacts with this type of video, YouTube is going to continue to show them videos like that. So you can end up getting an audience that you didn't even know about. Okay, so consider creating content, because no one is going to come to you if they don't know about you, all right? The same if you are doing B2B and you're concentrating on LinkedIn. Create content that shows businesses what it looks like to work with you. Include case studies, how you've helped customers. Start to put this content out there, and don't put content out there without a call to action. The call to action is to bring them back to the email software that you own so you can continue to have this dialogue and start the process, okay? Are we good? We have questions. You guys so quiet in the chat with me. Now, if you don't have any questions, you know how we do it. I am out of here, so let me look really quickly. Okay, I need money in business strategy. Okay, unique flaw. It says you need money in business strategy. Talk to me if you have any specific questions. I'll be happy to help you out. Let's lay down the law. Hey there, James. How are you? Hey there, Tracy. Kirby, Greta, what's going on, Lucille? Hey there, Nikki, pleasure. Boa tarde, Fernie. Okay, I see your business in the trends. Okay, all right, so we do have a question. Probably 5% of mine is responsible for 5 per, ooh, okay, lay down the law. Tell me what you do. Properly diversify. 5% of mine is responsible for 95%. All right, let's talk. Give me some questions and I can try to help you work that out. Okay, hey there, Tracy. Okay. All right, let's bring Tracy's question. We should do it right here on this scene. Okay, can I make this bigger? I guess I can. All right. Let's see. Okay, Tracy, I have a new virtual assistant business. No customers yet. I need a lead magnet. My audience are, what does that say? My audience are birth workers, midwives, etc. Do you think a toolkit or a checklist would work? Okay. So help me understand, Tracy. You want to be a virtual assistant to midwives. Now, how is it that what you do helps midwives specifically? If I am a midwife, what would you do for me that would make me want to hire you? And the reason why I am asking you this is because that is what your content needs to look like. So even though you create a tool, a checklist, or a kit or something like that, they have to get it from somewhere. Okay, so that's usually going to come with the content. Your call to action is going to be your lead magnet. But what content are you going to give them initially that would have them even know about your toolkit or checklist? Okay, and so what matters is you have to tell the benefits of what you do so that someone would care. All right, so guys, just remember what we're asking people to do. We're asking people to take their hard-earned money and give it to us. So you have to be super clear as to why someone would do that. What benefits are you going to offer your potential customer for them to give you money? So be super specific when you do this so that they can raise their hand and say, that sounds like something I need. So Tracy, if you're still here, if you can answer that question for me, just let me know what you would do specifically for midwives that will make their lives easier so that they will want to work with you. And that is what your content is going to be. So, and you push that out. Okay, so hey there, Monique, let's go back. But I will be doing proofreading. Okay, Monique. She said, I don't have a business yet, but I will be doing proofreading. Thank you for your great content. Thank you, Monique. I am glad that it is helpful. Okay, folks, if we don't have any specific questions, I'm out of here. Let me know. Going once, going twice. Also, again, so if you want to join me, we're doing the email income harvest. It's going to be next week. I'm teaching it on Wednesday and next Sunday, right? So this is going to help you create some structures as your email marketing is concerned, but also to have a relationship with your customers. So many of you are on my list. So I think you got an email today about the course. You didn't. No, you didn't. You'll probably get it tomorrow. But I would love to see you next week if you have any questions. Again, so, okay. All right. There we go. I'm a VA. NJT. Okay, so let's see this. All right. Okay. Hi, Cinnamon. I am a VA offering proofreading, editing, and writing service to food and hospitality industry. Love it. Did you have a question, love? Wait, huh? Right. Yes. Let me have your question, and then I will be happy to answer that for you. Okay, guys, y'all got me here. So if you have questions, let me know. If you found this helpful, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to share it with someone who can find this helpful. And be sure, don't just look at the content. Go ahead and implement this stuff into your business currently, okay? Okay, Tracy, in distract customers. Okay, all right. Ooh. Okay. I know this is small font, y'all, but I need it to fit all on the same frame, so don't shoot me. Administrative duties, interact with customers on social media management, inbox, email management. My audience is midwives, doulas. Okay, so Tracy, tell me this. Have you communicated with midwives, doulas, and that type of thing? If you have, I want to know if you've communicated with them to ask them if that is where they're struggling. Ask your customers, I don't care what industry you guys are in, ask them what they're struggling with. Many of you are on my list. I specifically asked you what you're struggling with. Hence, this is how we came up with tomorrow, next week's workshop. Okay, so the reason why I ask that, because sometimes you may think to create these various products, but your actual ideal client is struggling in a completely different area. Okay, so are midwives struggling with their social media? Like, are they having so many followers and so much chaos that they need someone to manage it? Do they have too many emails? So think about, it could be something, maybe you might need to create the sales campaign or their marketing campaign so that people know that they exist. That you could probably get a larger amount of money for. But tell me that part, because most of, in my experience, midwives aren't really the ones out here advertising themselves very well. Um, they don't do a really good job in doing that. So if we're saying they're inundated with social media, half of them don't even do social media anyway. So if you already have that audience, ask them, okay, perfect. No, I'm in a Facebook group. Please seems to need a staff. Okay. Okay. So when they say they're doing it all, okay, perfect. Thank you for that information. All right. So in the Facebook groups, they saying they're doing it all. This is what Tracy says. So I got to put it on this in order for you to see it. Okay. So Tracy says in the Facebook groups, it seems like they're trying to do it all. So this is the other thing you need to figure out. Some people complain, but they don't want to put no money toward it. Okay. So you want to make sure that in the services that you're offering and the audience that you're after, that they are, that the problem is so big that they will pay to get it solved. Okay. So let's chat and talk about, what that means. Because I know sometimes people, you may have a great business idea. And not to say that this is the case with you, Tracy. You might have a great business idea, but the audience that you're wishing to serve, including in a down market, may not be so inclined to pay to have their problem solved. Okay, so as people's discretionary income is going to decrease, you want to make sure that you are dealing with a huge pain point. Hence the reason why I keep telling you all to communicate with your customers and find out where their challenges are. So for example, if you have to go to work tomorrow and you have to drive and you wake up and you don't have no tires on your car, like all of them are slit, tires gone, you're going to find a way to get all 4 new tires if that's what you need to do to get to work. See, that's a problem. Somebody's going to pay even if they don't want to. Okay, so in down economies, people pay, A, to get more customers, and they pay to get their problem solved. Sometimes some of the other more types of products or service that people use with their discretionary income, those are usually the industries that end up struggling a bit because of the lack of need. So not necessarily saying that with you, Tracy, but just if people are saying they're doing everything, just test some things out. Test and see what you can do and who you can potentially work with in the group and how much they're willing to pay. Because if they're not going to pay enough if you want to do hourly or if you want to create packages, then you may have to switch. Oh my, sorry y'all, we live and a massive bug. That's why I can't be live. A massive bug just flew by my window. It was huge. It was like a toddler. It was a flying toddler. Sorry. Okay. I get distracted. Okay. Okay. How can a freelance writer in health and wellness? Patricia, can you be a little bit more specific for me? Let's go to Patricia's question really quickly. Okay, Patricia, how can a freelance writer in health and wellness choose a content? Are you saying choose the content to write about? Help me understand what your question is, Patricia, and then I will be sure to help you. I don't seem to know how to attract a client. What can I do? Okay, shoot. What did you say you do? VA. Okay. My question. Wait. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm struggling to get persons to use me. So here's the thing. Couple things. How are you currently advertising? What is the content that you're putting out there? How are you showing that it matters? So here's the thing. even for someone like me, if you are saying you're a virtual assistant and you manage email and social media, sometimes people may not necessarily need that. So it might not be that. I think it needs to be a little bit more dynamic as to what you do specifically. Like, what's the result? So if you say, okay, so virtual assistants, it's a hard one because you need someone busy enough that they can't manage their email themselves. Let me think about that one. Because I struggle in that because like I always check my own email and I wouldn't dare want somebody else checking my own email. So tell me how you're currently marketing, how you're showing that you could give your clients more time and more whatever it is you do. Tell me what that is in the comments and I'll try to help brainstorm with you because right now I just had a brain fart. Okay, all right. Facebook group, okay. I'm doing. Okay, perfect. Ooh, that's big. Okay, oops, didn't mean that. Sorry, guys. Y'all know I always struggle with the comments. I've done proofreading, editing on person's post. I've done proofreading for someone and they gave my business a testimonial. So if you are going to create a business that you can actually live from, you guys are going to have to scale, okay? And so when we talk about scale, would you be able to handle the email boxes of 30 people? And if so, what does that look like? What are the systems that's created? So if people don't feel like they need to have someone come in and manage, first of all, if email is where we're stuck, if someone's saying, I'm a virtual assistant and I can help with your email, if I'm a person who doesn't have problems with your email, I ain't hear nothing else that you said after that. So what I need you to do is in that industry that you're working with, what is their actual problem? Because if you haven't communicated with your potential audience, you might be focusing on activities that they may not necessarily find as a problem quite yet. So granted, a lot of entrepreneurs wear a bunch of hats, but you got to find the specific activities that will make them want to pay for that. So I work probably 16 hours a day. Would I pay somebody to do my emails? Probably not. But I would pay them to do a whole bunch of other things. I do pay them to do a whole bunch of other things. So if you're saying you wanted to do, and was it health? I might be confusing. If you're saying healthcare, I might have confused you with someone else. What about the healthcare? Like, talk to them. What is your average day like? What does it? What stresses you out? What's keeping you up at night? What takes up so much of your time? Do an interview of your potential customer. It may not be emails per se. It may be something else. And then with your skill set, you can lead that as your go-to. Say, oh, I help do this. But if you don't talk to your customers, this is why I want you guys to really focus on the email. Because once you create the content and you do the call to action, you can literally email and ask them where they're stuck. Because if it's proofreading, social media posts, you got to be able to scale that. It has to be enough of a need in the industry in which they're doing it. Now, you may have to do a whole social media package. And if that's what you're doing, you need to say that and then what that includes and how does that help the business owner. I hope that makes sense. Peace, Cinnamon. Hey, Christiane, how are you? Thank you for your live. We connect last time. Yes. Hey there, Christiane. Affiliate programs to help doctors with particular softwares. Yes, I looked into it, but they don't have an affiliate program for it. What is the software, love? Christiane, type that in the chat for me. And if I leave before you chat that out, send me an email because I know you're on my list. Tracy, perhaps the group is only your clients. Less work to start. Ooh, Tracy, did I miss you? Okay, no. Okay, yes. All right. Well, we have a new freelance health wellness, right? Create lead magnet to obtain new subscribers in the area. Media production, B2B. Love it. Okay. I'm writing blog posts on social media to build my credibility. Okay. Patricia, did I forget what your question was? How can a new freelance writer in health and wellness choose content to write? Is that what you're saying? How can a new freelance writer create a lead magnet to obtain new subscribers in the areas of media production? Hold on. Okay, so initially, Patricia, you said that you are working with what audience? You said health and wellness, right? That is your audience. A writer in health and wellness, right? But then you said something about media publications and B2B. So I'm super confused as to who your audience is. I'm writing blog posts on social media to build my credibility. Okay, great. But I'm still unclear who your audience is, because health and wellness and media, in areas of media production and B2B, I have no idea who your audience is. So help me out with that, love. I don't seem to know how to attract a client. What can I do? I use paid and free ads. Okay, don't use any more paid ads right now. What's your name, love? I hate just calling you nomadic Jamaican. I would like to know your name. I may already know your name, but I might forget. Okay, if your marketing message is not clear, stop paying for ads. Okay, you're just wasting money. Now, if you can't attract clients, 9 times out of 10, you can't tell me what clients you can help. Okay, because if you know who your clients are, then, so for example, if I was a plumber and I wanted to increase my sales in emergency plumbing, and I wanted to increase my sales in emergency plumbing because if it's an emergency, people will pay more, right? So I would put out an ad that would include emergency plumber. I would make it localized to where I am, where my service is. And so when someone calls me, they specifically have the need of emergency plumber. And then I know from that ad, I can make more money because it's immediate versus someone who just sets an appointment. Okay, so what problem are you solving? And this is for everyone who's here. What problem are you solving and for who? Now, if you are going to do emails or write blog, like what is the problem that you're solving ultimately? Because as people's discretionary income change, they're always going to have money to solve their problem. But if you can't easily identify how you are going to be beneficial to a business, how is your customer supposed to know how you're going to be beneficial to their business? So it's going to be a challenge attracting customers when they don't know how you will benefit them. Does that make sense? So how are you solving a problem for this audience that they have? And if you're focusing on something that may not be a problem, this is why it's super important to communicate with them, because you may think that there's this issue and then they're not paying for it because it wasn't a big enough problem. Okay, so help me with that, and which brings me back to selling crystals because I have inventory. I was wondering if I'm having an email marketing would still be helpful for physical products. Thank you. I'm thinking of using. Okay, so here's the thing, Christiane. I must have missed part of your other question. Yeah, tell me what the software is. I might be missing the part of your other question. So in regards to selling crystals, I don't know how much your crystals cost, and I don't know how much income you're trying to make from it. But you have to show, first of all, is the audience going to pay the amount that you need for a crystal to sustain your life? If they are, cool. Then you need to focus on, you need to focus on getting more people to know about you if that's an industry that pays a lot for this service. Because if we're talking about creating this location-independent life, and you need to sustain yourself, particularly in a down economy, are you working in an industry that when people's discretionary income dries up, then they can no longer afford something like crystals? So consider that. Consider the things that in a down economy, you want to focus on solving problems, because people's discretionary income is going to change. All right. Benefits over features. Absolutely. I can give you 2 more hours a day. Yes, absolutely. Beautiful. That is true. Proofread, edit, post content, the cleaning recipes. I don't do email stuff. Okay, I'm not doing emails. I have no interest in that type of work. Looking at blogs, articles, hospitality, students' papers. So here, okay. Have you identified hospitality? So recipes. I am super looking at blog posts, articles, recipes. Tell me how many articles, not healthcare, chef, cooks, hospitality industries. Who is the person that you want to write you a check? Who's writing a check for you? Um, Ultimately, is it a hotel that is paying you to write for them? Like, who's writing you the check? Okay, all scripts and electronic death registration. Okay, thank you for that. Christiane, I'm gonna look at that. Can I copy here? I can't copy it. Oh, Christiane, can you send me an email with that? And I'll check into it because I can't copy this off of the comments, unfortunately. Do me a favor, love, and shoot me an email, and I'll look into that. Okay, health and wellness is my niche. Okay, hey, Patricia. Want to build my audience with media, magazines, publications, and... okay. Thank you, Patricia. Now we have some. Okay, so if you all are freelance writers, you need to do pitches. There are pitches to magazines. They have various freelance writers. So for those of you who are writing and you want to write for publications. So Nomadic Jamaican, I think you're saying your industry is hospitality. Every industry has a publication, from insurance to hospitality. What are those publications? You need to do research and find out what those publications are. Find out what the process is to write for them so that you can get published with them, and that can help you get some SEO juice because hopefully your content will be associated with their link, and if it's an association, that gives you great link juice, okay? In order to get published, you have to do pitches to various industries, various magazines and publications. So let's say you wanted to write for Vogue. Most likely Vogue has some people on staff, but a lot of people are downsizing in the writing space, and they are hiring freelancers. So you have to do pitches. A lot of times they will put the pitches out there. You can look on their website, seeing if you can pitch that way. You can Google your industry and put guest posts. But ultimately, the time that you need to develop your name that way is going to take longer than you just going to the businesses that you want to work with. So in your industry, guys, a lot of times you can create what's called a hit list. So you can think about 10 to 15 businesses that you would actually want to work with and see what they are currently doing. So for me, in the field of digital marketing, if there was a business that I wanted to work with, I will already evaluate what their digital marketing situation is. Do they have a way to communicate with their customers? If I come to their website and I'm interested in getting more information, what is their sales process, or what is their email process? What does their social media look like? Do they have ads? Are they doing their ads correctly? I will evaluate that before someone pays me because I want to work with that business. So if there's a magazine and publication that you have, take the initiative to go ahead, particularly if you're doing magazines, because that's what a media pitch is. Just pitch your articles. Sometimes they tell you the articles that they want written, and you write it. Now, here's the thing for those of you who are writing. Writing is super hard to scale. It takes a lot of time, and it is difficult for you to write and market, just so you know, okay? And if you're attempting to write for these various publications are funded through advertisement. And in a down economy, advertising dollars decrease, okay? Y'all following me? So you might want to consider some things. It may be a challenge in this area because a lot of publications struggle for the advertising to keep the doors open. Okay, so not to tell you to give up on that, but just understand we're talking about in a down economy right now, and people's discretionary income, including businesses, including advertising, is going to lessen. And I want you to consider that because it's going to make it super challenging to scale your business, to get a bunch of people in there so that you can pay a mortgage, in addition to advertising dollars in all platforms, in social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Google Ads. The ad to advertise is going to be more expensive, and companies aren't going to pay as much in advertising. So that means that a lot of corporations, and they're doing it now, are going to start to make adjustments. This is why we're talking about this today for entrepreneurs, that now is the moment where you need to consider the various aspects of your business to see if you can use some software to automate some things, cut out some things that cost money, reduce staff if you need to, and replace that with some software. Make sure that you're giving value to your customers. If you currently have customers, re-engage with them and see what they would need, and things like that. All right. Okay. You're right about the paid ads. Did my taxes last night. Saw the sad reality of how much I had spent. Exactly. Do not, look at me, guys. Please do not spend any money on paid advertising right now. Okay. Particularly if you are not clear on your marketing message and your process afterwards, because you can pay for advertising and then it doesn't convert. Okay. And then you wasted money. Okay, so your marketing message may not all the way be established correctly, and they're still going to take your money. So please, please, please calm down on the paid ads right now until you know that your marketing message, your call to action, your process when you have cold to warm leads. Because folks, people rarely just come off and give you money and they don't know you. You have to build the relationship, which is why the email part is so important, because that's how you build the relationship. Rarely is somebody just going to come on a website and say, I want this woman's service right now. They've been watching you and examining you. You guys know this because, look, I'm a walking example, okay? So you have to continue to have the relationship with the person so they can decide, oh, I want to hire this person. And what happens with when you are doing, this is what they don't tell you. This is what digital marketing is. We pay a certain amount to get to a cold audience. That cold audience, there are various cookies and things in the back end that tell us this person has interacted with this brand before. It is substantially cheaper to do ads to an audience that already knows you, and that is done with email, or you're paying more for a new audience. New audiences rarely act immediately. So you have to develop a relationship with said audience. And that helps because if you have an email database, you can upload those to the various advertising platforms. And that tells Facebook, Google, everyone that you already have a relationship with this person. In addition to them being cookied when they come to your website. Nah, I don't want to get all that technical. So I say all that to say what people who don't know how to market online end up doing is they attempt to put money to a cold audience, and it doesn't convert well because cold audiences don't tend to convert. So if you put majority of your advertising campaign on a cold audience and you don't get results, it's not because they weren't interested. Sometimes, people got to see you 3, 4, 12 times. And if you gave up before you had enough budget to make it a warm lead, your money's going to be wasted. Hope that makes sense. I probably didn't. But that's why a lot of people who are in marketing or digital marketing, who are new to it, the platforms just end up taking your money and you don't convert. So that's one of the reasons why. Anyway, I think, is a selling point that my service is tax deductible? No, every service is tax deductible. If you hire any service provider, they're tax deductible because you paid for them. So that is not a selling point. That's a given for any service you pay for. All right, folks, if we don't have any other questions, I am out of here. As always, I appreciate chatting with you. I know you could be anywhere you decided to be here with me. I appreciate that. Love to see you next week at the Email Income Harvest workshop that I'm teaching on the 23rd and 27th. It is a 90-minute workshop. We are going to go over a variety of different things, and we'll love to see you there. Now, I'm going to be doing some more training. Am I doing it this week? I'll be doing some more training the next couple days, probably not tomorrow, but I'll be back talking about some stuff. I'm not, I should have planned that out before I came up here. But if you're on my email list, you'll get an email, but I'll be up here a couple times. So think about your questions. If I am, just think about what your questions are, write them down, come see me. It will be the same time. I can give you that. But I'm not sure about the content. So just check out and I'll let you know that. So I have persons visiting and following up my website or WordPress and my Instagram. I'm rambling now. I'm Andy, by the way. Hey, Andy. Thank you. So good to know your name. Okay, Christiane, I hope you sent me an email, and I'm out of here, guys. So I hope that this was helpful, and you consider doing these things in your business. And until next time.